My grandfather had a plaque or a phrase on the side of his wall that was, "Never judge another man until you've walked a mile in his moccasins." And it's part of the idea of empathy. And it's part of why these extreme experiences are interesting to me. And that's what we talk about, trying to get a step closer. I mean, to have empathy with somebody who went through a massive shelling ordeal is nigh impossible. At the same time, this is farther than you've ever been able to get before. And so what I thought VR would be great at is showing you something that even when a person describes it to you is still unimaginable. What VR can do is fool your lizard brain. It can make the hair on the back of your neck stand up even though your conscious brain knows that this isn't real. The combination of all those things together seemed a likely place to try to recreate a nightmare.
Remember something. On the Western Front of the First World War, things can always get worse. They can always get much, much worse.
Dan Carlin is one of the world's greatest storytellers, and anyone who has ever spent any time listening to his audio for even a few minutes understands that that's the case. The challenges of this project have almost entirely been a function of making sure that we're getting Dan's ideas right. The truth about the experience is that it is unlike anything else.
I'll take you here.
Holy shit. That's gonna turn some people inside out.
You think so?
Uh-huh.
Good. We call this experience an immersive memory. And by that we mean it's really tricky to tell the story of World War I in 15 minutes. It's virtually impossible. However, working with Dan Carlin, the team at Flight School and the team at Madison Wells came to this concept of an immersive memory, which is as if you could take the collective consciousness of all the lives that were lost during the war, the emotional weight of World War I, and put it in context so that you can get just a tiny taste of what it might have been like to be there. That is what we're trying to do with this experience.
The big thing that we're working on right at this minute is getting the haptics in the floor working. We're going to see if we can get that done before we actually leave here.
You know, working with Dan, there's a level of realism that he wants to bring to the project. You know, he asked us to create an uncomfortable place, but with these VR projects, people come in and they expect it to sound like a movie, they expect it to sound like a video game, and they expect it to sound like real life. And I think that if you want to meet the expectations of your audience, it actually has to be all three. One of the nice things about a VR project like this is, you know, it was actually an exciting opportunity for us to go that far and make something that scary. I think we're pretty good though. If we just drill down on what we have, we've got time to get it right.
When you're talking about replicating extremely negative human experiences, there's a line beyond which you won't want to go. It's hard.
The terrain becomes hideous and gruesome.
If you talk about the artillery that you feel in your body physically, what the VR can do is give you a taste. So that then if you went and read some stuff on the First World War or saw a movie or saw it in some other venue, you'd be able to go, I know that artillery is something you can actually feel, because when I went through this experience, I felt it, right? So if people came out of this with a better understanding of the things that are impossible to imagine, we would have done something positive.
Maybe it helps us to better understand our times if we recall that they were built by a generation of traumatized survivors, forever reliving an early 20th century nightmare.
When Clint and I talk about taking you farther than you've ever been able to go, these are the little elements that
we're attempting to draw you into the collective memory of the past. We want to take people right up to the edge of very traumatic experience, but also allow you the freedom to stay grounded and to take it in. So every step you take forward unlocks and passes threshold for more narrative and more unexpected events. It pushes that button inside of you emotionally that, like, this is beyond what I was expecting for this experience, and it's pushing you into a magical zone.
What I really like about it is, based on the encouragement from Dan, we really were able to push it. You know, VR can be very gamey, it can be very stylized, which is something we love to do, but this really pushed our boundaries of creating something photoreal. Having Skywalker here and having MWM here, actually walking through the experience and touching the walls and seeing it in the headset and having the headphones on. It's really the only way to experience it. I really do hope that everyone thinks it's one of the best things they've seen in VR.
War Remains pushes immersive technology as far as you can take it right now. The experience is so visceral and so real. All of a sudden, your opinion on war and on its relation to history takes on a whole new dimension. As the technology continues to grow and expand, I think the degree to which that you can convey the real reality of being in history only continues to expand, and I think that's a question that we're going to all have to contend with in immersive content, period, let alone in bringing people back in time.
MWM Immersive is the interactive division of Madison Wells Media.
At the center of anything that we create in that division, we're focused on telling a story and using that medium as a core tool in telling that story. What I was so impressed with was Brandon Oldenburg and the team at Flight School's ability to work with Skywalker and work with us and to work with Dan Carlin to start with just a broad idea of World War I and then boil that down into a 15-minute experience. I'm exceptionally proud of what that team has done, and I think the output is incredible.
This is part of what I love and we love at MWM, is the ability to match people who are absolutely the world's best creators in a medium with storytellers who may not be familiar with that medium.
We're driven to help those storytellers find the technologies that they need to tell the story the right way.
The exciting thing for our company and for our platform is that we talk all the time about the idea that technology is just moving faster than infrastructure can keep up with. And to us, that gives us an opportunity to not have to have everything exactly right now, but to be able to grow and build with it as technology changes, as interactive narrative storytelling evolves. MWM and the MWMI team will be the place, we hope, where creators come to be able to build and tell those stories to a bigger and bigger audience using whatever methods are available through time.